So I think we're going to give it a start. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this webinar. This webinar's title, Scan to BIM, the Future of As-Built Capture. And it's hosted by myself. My name is Shuaib Yunus. I'm the BIM Technical Specialist for Civil Infrastructure and Mining here at Baker Baynes. And today is a really fun webinar. I had a lot of fun actually doing the Scan to BIM workflow on something that was real world, something that will be applied more or less constantly. And I thought, hey, it'll be a great idea to show you or show the viewers out there actually how easy it actually is if you apply it in the correct manner. I hope you're all here in South Africa. I know there's people from all over the world that I'm currently seeing, but here in South Africa, I hope the lockdown's going well and actually all over. I think we've got like one more week left, kinda, so just hang in tight there. And yeah, let's learn something awesome today. So let's have a look at the actual agenda or today's session. So for all of those that are joining us for the first time, we're going to have a quick intro, as always, of Baker Baynes, who we are, what we do, so you know more or less about us. Very short, very sweet, to the point, and that's it. And thereafter, we are going to actually be going through or diving straight to the topic at hand called Scan to BIM. We're going to look at what, why, the benefits, as well as the limitations of it. Thereafter, we're going to go directly into the actual demonstration. So the Scan to BIM workflow, we are going to actually be looking at scanning using the actual machine, doing the point cloud, and then how the model actually came out. So really cool example there. And of course, then we can wrap it up and let you get on with your day. Alrighty, so let's look at Baker Baynes. As you can see, we live by the motto, helping you design and make a better world. And if you want to know more or less who we are in a quick snapshot, this is more or less what it is. I will be getting into the actual partnering bands that we do have just now. But in terms of the segments, you can see we've got 4 key segments that we actually advocate. The first one is survey, design, hardware, and consultancy. We've also got design software like Autodesk, IDIS, Adobe, and stuff like that. We also embrace a blended learning approach, being CAD learning. We are the only providers of it in Africa. And of course, and 2 really good things that we are proud of is we are an Autodesk authorized training center, as well as a service provider select. The service provider select is actually a very elite thing. It helps you do a lot of consulting, shows that we have the capabilities, we have the correct professionals to actually help you design and make a better world. So in a nutshell, that's more or less what we do and who we are. In terms of the actual segments, we will actually be specializing, or we are actually specializing in these segments. The first one being build, so anything vertical construction, buildings, skyscrapers, residential blocks, those type of things. Civil infrastructure, so normal civil engineering applications, road, rail, water, that type of thing. Energy and mining are very closely related, so anything energy, process orientated, and then of course manufacturing. So you see, we actually specialize for all the major segments or industries prevalent today, and we have professionals in each of these fields catering it, mine being in civil infrastructure and mining. Okay, so in terms of our actual technology partners, let's start off with Autodesk. So everyone knows Autodesk, or Autodesk is popularly known as the AutoCAD people, if I can put it very bluntly. But of course, they've grown and developed really fantastic tools to help you design much more intelligently, faster, easier, and actually enjoy it. So we not only sell the Autodesk software, but we provide training on it. We provide consulting expertise, and we help you to get your projects done quicker, better, and much more intelligently. In terms of the machines, today we're going to be using the Leica. So this one here on the top right hand corner, we're going to be actually looking at that. It's a 3D scanner, laser scanner, predominantly used for interiors or by architects It has a range about 60 meters and really good, 360,000 points per second. Really good machine, very simple, very compact, very easy to use. And then, of course, for more rugged applications, so civil infrastructure, construction, sites, mining, we've got the Topcon GLS 2000. This has a very powerful range. Also, accuracy is really good. Millimeter accuracy can be achieved. You have the starting range that scans up to 150-meter range, which is really long, and of course the higher end, which is 500 meters. So very good capabilities on that part of things. Also a 3D scanner. And then of course we've got CAD learning. CAD learning, I would say, is my favorite thing as a designer. Reason being is it has most of the Autodesk software that you can learn at your own pace, at your own time. So we all, as designers, when we're under pressure, we run to YouTube and we try and figure out something there. What if something was actually certified by the actual software developers to help you learn the software better? And that's exactly what CAD learning is. So CAD learning will actually help you learn on the go, project by project, or if you have time and you want to master as many software as you can, all of them are available on there. You can test yourself, you can do a skills test, you can monitor your progress. Also for companies that are looking to develop their design teams, their staff, the really good software that can be taken on a company level called an enterprise, and it will help you actually produce or up your productivity and make your designers that much more sharper. So again, our contacts will be at the end of the webinar. If you want to reach out and want to find out more on any of this brand, please let me know. And then, of course, all of these things that we've discussed now currently, it's based on our IADOP methodology. It's our skeleton, our trademark. I'm not going to get into it, but we help you assess your current situation. We educate you where we can, and we consult with you to help you design and make a better world. And then, of course, facilitate positive change management. So that's what we do in a nutshell. Okay, now for the fun part. Okay, so all of the normal mandatory things have been done. Let's jump into the actual scan to BIM and look at exactly what is it. So I've broken it down into actually three steps to help you understand it better. Remember, understanding is way more better than actually just click. Well, my opinion. So let's look at what is scanning. So first of all, scanning is a use of 3D scanning technology that's used to actually capture the existing environment. So what I mean by that is it's a machine that you would place in a room or depending within the proximity of the asset that you would like to scan, and you would allow the laser to actually shoot its frequency and capture an X, Y, Z coordinate. It can be applied across all design disciplines. So this is not just for build industry. We just used our office as an example because we did it from start to finish. Retail and also residential office spaces are using this a lot, property developers as well. So we thought we'll go into this, but you can also use it for plant, civil infrastructure, mining, and so on. Also, like I said, you get very heavy duty scanners that can do millions of points per second. The one we used again was 360,000 points per second, still pretty damn good. And it gets an XYZ coordinate, so you can get real-time positioning. And of course, you can import this point cloud that's the product of a scan into your main authoring tool. So anything like Revit, Civil 3D, Inventor, AutoCAD, whichever flavor you use, I mean, you can import it in there and you actually can design off it. So now that you know what is scanning, what is BIM? So BIM stands for Building Information Modeling. It refers to modeling and design in an intelligent way. So if you recall, we normally used to just do a drawing, but there was no real data attached to it. With building information modeling, you actually have data attached to your design, making it that much better. And it results in the model rather than a 2D layout with text on it. So it actually leads to much more efficient workflows, more insight, and more transparency across the project lifecycle. So it's really the future and the way to go if you want to design things in an intelligent way. So now that you know what's scanning, you know what's BIM, what's scan to BIM. So scan to BIM involves the integration of both of these methodologies. So you take the technology, you link it to the BIM process, and you actually get scan to BIM. So what that means is you'll take the digital capture of the existing environment, you will process it using the software technology, link it to a BIM enhanced or BIM fueled software that's intelligent, and you would design whatever you'd like. So scan to BIM. It can be applied using 3D scanners. So the fixed one, that's what we used. It's going to be sitting on a tripod. You will see it just now. A handheld, so the latest one from Leica is actually the BLK2Go. If you haven't checked it out, please do. It's so awesome and it's really easy to use. And of course, drones, it's always the toys that everyone likes to have. You can also do it with drones and photogrammetry. So if you're looking at a workflow, this looks very much cluttered and complicated, right? But these are just some of how you can apply it, some of the technologies that can be used or I've used. But we're going to go to a watered down version. This can be very complicated depending on the scenario you apply it to. But for today's workflow example, you're going to see an actually very, very good one. Okay, so just take that scramble out of your head for a little while and let's look at actually why scan to BIM. So this is more or less the challenges we're facing, not only here in South Africa, but actually worldwide. First of all, the current way of doing things, if I could be quite frank, it sucks. What I mean by that is everything we have to do, it's manual, it's inaccurate sometimes. Sometimes a person can write a 5, it looks like a 2, or, you know, misinterpretation can be really, really bad. So it's very manual. If you had to take a tape measure and go and measure up a building, it's really, really painful. If you have done it, I feel your pain. But yeah, we're going to try and actually avoid that with technology now. Also, infrastructure has become really old. Buildings that are like 20 to 80 years old, they normally don't have as-built drawings. So if you're a designer and you've worked with municipalities or if you work with different corporates, you would find that the buildings that you would need to actually renovate or do additions to, there's no real blueprints or as-built of it, and that's a real bad thing. And this is where scanning actually solves that problem. Of course, in terms of project costing and forecasting, it's kind of unreliable at the moment. Also, in terms of the poor project scheduling and quality control, if you don't have correct processes in place, your scheduling goes off. If your scheduling goes off, the quality is actually rushed on site. If you have been on site like myself, you would know that if a deadline's looming, you're not worried at the quality of your work, but rather just getting it done. And that also often leads to problems down the road. And of course, if you do have the actual technology, bringing it together between design, construction, and as-built can be cumbersome if you don't have guidance. So these are just some of the challenges, and of course, profit margin and the industry in chaos, especially with this COVID that's looming. Things are a bit different, and we are looking at better ways to streamline production, work remotely, and stuff like that. And scan to BIM actually assists in that. So let's look at the benefits and limitations very quick, then we can jump into the demonstration. Benefits, you just need that actual image on the right-hand side to actually get a picture of it. But if you look at this, you could actually take your model, you can do a scan, and you can overlay that point cloud scan over your model to actually see what was built versus design. So as you can see, this pipe is actually sitting there, constructed after design or after sign off or handoff, but on your original design, it was actually sitting here. You can actually now update this model so that it matches the point cloud and it makes your life much more easier rather than scanning, modeling, remeasuring from scratch and taking it in. So these are all of the advantages. You can read them for yourself. As you can see, they're pretty damn good. I mean, I would say the key one is fewer physical site visits because you always miss something on site. If you're doing it manually, somehow you might miss something that you would need down the line. That helps you to reduce issues and change orders, reduces cost and rework. So very, very good advantages from scan to BIM. But of course, there are also, if I have to bring it into 5 categories, you have greater cost predictability, improved scheduling, fewer errors, optimized design, and better understanding. Something that's critical for any project. But of course, you also have disadvantages in terms of, or limitations rather. I wouldn't say it's a disadvantage, but let's look at them very quickly. Weather. Okay, so you cannot go scan in a hailstorm or in an avalanche or very windy or rainy weather. Please do not do that. You do need clear conditions so that you can actually capture the physical environment as accurate and as tangible as possible. Also, it should be vacant. What I mean by that is there shouldn't be people walking around. It should be empty. The reason being is if you have done 3D or reality capture, when you have moving objects, you might have distorted images, you might have some floating heads. What I mean by that is if someone's walking, you might only see half of their body because of the movement of the scanner versus the movement of the person. Quite funny sometimes, but to avoid all of that, just try and keep the place as vacant as possible. Another thing that's a bit of it's unavoidable rather, but large data sets. The scanning does have a large file size, and we are talking gigs here. So you would need to have enough storage space and a decent spec computer to actually run it. The equipment at first can be expensive, so the 3D scanners can be expensive on startup. However, by applying it on the project, you already make up for it within the first project or two. We have clients that have already done it and the feedback is amazing. Also, manual registration can be long, so if your scanning methodology or your process of scanning is not that up to scratch, you might have to actually stitch certain things on your own, and this can be time consuming. And of course, depending on the point data that you have and the software that you're using, it can be a bit overwhelming sometimes. But hey, that's why we are here. We can actually help you find better ways to do it, train you up on it. But you'll see today, this webinar will actually provide you with very good insight on that. And the last thing I've left it for last is a point cloud does not equal a CAD model. We always get this question that, so if I scan the building, I have my CAD model. No. What you're seeing on the right-hand side, those are just millions of pixels or dots that are being connected by the laser. It does not equal a CAD model. You will still need to import it into the software and model of it. Alternatively, you can use various technologies to extract it, auto-extract it, like I've done for this webinar. The one I've used is ClearEdge EdgeWise by Topcon, but you'll have a look at it now to see how real awesome it is. Okay, so I'm done with the introduction and the body. Now let's get to the fun part of things. Let's jump into the actual demonstration. So what I've done is I've created a scenario to tell you exactly what we needed to do. And I've also put it in step by step so you can actually follow the methodology. Again, I strongly feel as a designer, understanding is way better than actually knowing how to do it, click, 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 right? So let's have a look. So this is the story. We recently moved to a new office park, Sunning Hill Office Park. We have new offices now, and on the right-hand side, that's more or less where it is. It's close to the waterfall area and Sunning Hill in Johannesburg, South Africa. And what we needed to do is we needed to actually plan our office layout. So we had our stuff in our previous office that we needed to fit in, or we needed to add a different layout in terms of the way we would work. And we actually applied or thought, hey, it'll be actually quite cool to apply the scan to BIM to achieve this. And I promise you, it was really amazing. It worked 100% correct. What we did was we scanned the office with the Leica BLK 360. So I went in, I did a scan. We then processed it with Autodesk Recap Pro. We extracted the wall using automatic feature recognition by EdgeWise. And then our architect in the office, actually, she modeled the Revit model, which looked damn cool. So you can see, you're going to go through the start to finish of this actual process. and I really hope that you enjoy it. So just sit back and yeah, just enjoy. And of course, I like pictures because I'm a designer. So this is what we've done. So we first did the scan and capture part of things, where we use Recap Pro with BLK 360 to capture the environment. Thereafter, we incorporated that by processing it on the desktop with EdgeWise and Recap Pro. We then jumped into the actual importing that extracted model to Revit and modeling off there to the layout that we desired. And then the last part of any workflow is the actual as-built compare versus design intent. Now, due to COVID and my workload or our workload on the side, I did not get to rescan the actual office after we did the layout, but I will tell you exactly how to do it if you want to complete the entire workflow. So let's have a look. In terms of the BLK 360, that's more or less how it looks on the right-hand side. It really fits in the palm of your hand. All of the gadgets fit into that bag there. That's a foldable tripod. That's the case. That the actual scanner. That is the actual scanner, believe it or not. Those are the chargers for the batteries, and then some other electronic charging equipment that you can use in your car and stuff like that. And of course, you need an iPad to help you sync it much better. Recap Pro. So again, I'm just telling you about the software that we did use. Recap Pro is the actual point cloud processing software introduced by Autodesk, where you would import, process the software, the point cloud, and then you can import that into AutoCAD, Civil 3D, Revit, or whichever software you're using. Of course, it's part of the AEC collection, and you can see it can be found in there. EdgeWise, a lot of people do not know what's ClearEdge. EdgeWise, it's a extraction tool by Topcon. So what it does, it uses point recognition, it scans everything, and from there we actually extract whatever we need to. So I used it to extract the walls, but you can actually apply the technology in terms of for structures, pipes, ducts, plant modeling, and there's plugins available for Revit and also AutoCAD Plan 3D. So it's a really, really powerful software, very widely adopted in industry, and it actually makes your design time much more quicker, easier, and much more enjoyable. Okay, and then of course, Revit, I'm not going to get into it. It's the most famous or flagship software by Autodesk, used by architects, engineers, structural engineers, mechanical, electric, and plumbing individuals. And it's the actual advocate or champion of BIM in terms of the Autodesk offerings. It's also part of the AEC collection. You can see that it fits there. So the AEC collection is a very well-rounded thing. If you are in civil infrastructure, mining, architecture, or architecture, engineering, construction, this is the tools to actually go for. It'll help you design and make a better world. Okay, so that's the workflow we can look at now, and let's start off with step one. So step one was we needed to scan it using the BLK 360. I'm going to show you how you actually use it. It's very simple. So that is step one. Let's look at connecting the BLK to the iPad. So this is how the machine actually looks. You can see it's really small. You'll insert the battery in there. That will actually clip into the actual tripod. And once the green light's on, you hit that button and it literally starts scanning. But first you need to sync it to an iPad Pro. So what you will do is you will actually go and navigate to the settings panel. You'll pick up the Wi-Fi network emitted by the BLK 360, and you will need to connect. All right. So these are really good videos by Leica and ClearEdge. This is where you will get the password to actually connect to the Wi-Fi. Again, it doesn't use internet, it's just a pure connection to communicate between the iPad and that. And as you can see, once it's connected, you will get that tick there. The next thing is, now that you've got it connected, you need to sync it with actual Recap Pro. So Recap Pro is the one that's actually going to be getting all of your scans into place. So we're going to open it, we're going to create a project. So we're going to call it a future office. All right, a new office, whatever you prefer. I use Future Office. Once you go to Future Office, you just hit that button on the right here. So this is how it looks on your iPad. You've got different options here. And then of course, if you hit New Scan, the machine, it'll communicate to the machine to actually start scanning. It also shows you in terms of how much memory you have left on your scanner, number of scans, the synced variable, and so on. Now, you can also adjust the settings in terms of the type of scan you want. We normally use medium because it works really good and the file size is decent. However, if you do use high, you're welcome to. You get a much more higher quality of scan or denser scan, but it does take a tad bit longer. And then you can also use or edit the current white balance and color according to your liking. So now that we've synced the iPad with the machine and we've got the machine connected to Recap Pro, the fun part starts. So once we hit start on the Recap Pro, you'll see that the machine will start doing this. So it'll start rotating, you'll have it blinking at the bottom. Once it turns green, you need to take it to the next part of scanning. You'll see the oscillating head in the center here. That's what's doing all of the shooting, if I could call it that. Once it scans, this is how it's going to look on your Recap Pro or on your iPad. It'll tell you to confirm the results as you're seeing there, and it'll give you the accuracy in terms of what you would need. So you can actually click Merge Scan and it will actually do it. However, if you do get an unable to register, this is because the procedure that you've used for scanning is not meeting the minimum overlap requirements or accuracy or visibility of the previous scan. And this is where you would need Recap Pro, not Recap, the free version, to actually match those points yourself. It's quite easy as well. It's called manual targeting. You can always check it out on the Autodesk Knowledge Network, or you can pop me an email. I can gladly talk to you about it. So now that we've done the scans, it's time to transfer it. So you're done machine scanning, you're done scanning your building or whatever you want to do. Now you need to take the files from the iPad and transfer it directly to your desktop that you would need to use the modeling for. So now we are on step 2, which is process and extract. So this is how it looks like. On the desktop, we're going to go to new project. We're going to say transfer from mobile device. Just a hint that you would need to have iTunes installed onto your iPad so it to work. There's the scans that we've got. You can see it gives you the number of scans. Once you hit select project, you can rename it if you'd like. We're going to leave it as it is and hit proceed. And once you proceed, it'll start processing. Now, this can take some time. I'm going to be honest, depending on the size of your project. So you have to be patient on this part of things. Once this transfer is complete, you can hit open projects and you will be able to see the scans that you've done in Recap Pro on your desktop. So this is what you would see on a desktop. You can see it has the imagery attached to the pixels behind it, which is amazing to see because you can actually see what's going on. And then you will have to index the scans. This too can take a little bit of time, but once it's done, you can hit on launch project and you can actually start working off the scans. So once we hit launch project, this is how our office came out. So this is it, process done and dusted in Recap Pro. And as you can see, it looks very neat, right? It came out really good, worked really well. And if you want to see the imagery or the Recap real view part of things, all you got to do is do this. You see those black dots, those are just the positions of the actual scans during the actual scanning process. But if I click on the white spheres, it will take me to the position of the scanner. So here we are. This was our office before we moved in, right? It was pretty vacant, but we needed it in terms of doing the measurements and for digital design because we are a digital transformation company and we thought this will be great to use. So you can see these are all the spaces. This is how clear it came up. And of course, if you click the sphere, it'll jump to that position. You will see me hiding outside here. I am. So try and keep it vacant. And yeah, you'll get a really good quality scan. Of course, you can also do a lot of other cool things. For example, you can do measurements off here. So if I wanted to take the measurement from there to there, check that out. It'll actually give you the measurement. Of course, you'll have to click a bit accurately. I just did a wild one there. I can also copy this to a clipboard. I can move it. I can get the angle, the X, Y, Z coordinates. really, really intelligent, right? Good design practice to use. And this is why it's been adopted so widely all over the world at the moment. Of course, you can go and hide the dimensions. You can bring them back if you'd like. Totally up to you. If you come to my training, I always call that the pizza icon at the bottom. But we can always go back and switch this on if needed. Here we are. And of course, you can add notes, you can add catalogs, you can attach images. So you can have a really comprehensive model. So you can really beef this up and add as much data as you like to this file. So you can see the intelligence, you can see the time saved, and you can also see the value in this, especially for asset management, facilities management, and general design across all design disciplines. So yeah, again, if I click on that map on the top, it'll jump to different positions. And as you can see, this is more or less what we have. So the scan came out really cool. The quality is really great. The images are good. And yeah, that's how the scan came out. So now that we had the scan, all we got to do is we're going to take that scan RCP file from Autodesk Recap. We imported it into or attached it to ClearEdge EdgeWise, and we ran the extraction tool. So all I got to do is click on process scans. You'll see that this is what I can actually set up. I hit start and it'll start extracting the walls. So this can take a little bit of time depending on the size of your building, but when it's done, it literally looks like this. You can see those two blue lines, those are actually levels. And if you're probably thinking why that's important, we're going to import this now into Revit. And this will be actually intelligent data going into Revit. The walls that it has extract for our building, it actually will bring it in as families in Revit. So that's actually our next step. So importing the extracted walls into Autodesk Revit. So now we are on the last step or second last step. So this is Revit. If I open my Revit, I'm in Architecture tab, and I go to EdgeWise Import. You can see that it's currently grayed out because it works with a dongle, but I've already got the dongle and I've already extracted the actual file, and there's the EdgeWise extracted file there on my computer. So what we're going to do is we're going to import this Revit file into there, and look at that. I didn't have to draw anything. The software extracted all of this, and you saw the scan previously. It literally looks like this. All right. Yes, there's certain things that you might have to edit or you might have to delete, but this gives you an amazing starting point. Like for us, this was like 90% of the model easily. All right. There are certain things that we needed to delete, or maybe certain walls that we needed to join or delete off here. But look at that. Imagine starting from something like that on a very industrial or residential or office building. So now that the walls came in, we handed it over to our architect, Alyssa. She modeled it in conjunction with the rest of our team and also our technical head, Yanni. And what we did was, or what the result came out to was really awesome. So this is what we ended up with. So we took the walls and we did our space planning. We did our architectural modeling in here. And this is more or less what we came up with for our office. Pretty cool. It looks really nice. It worked really good, work like clockwork, if I could say that. And if we had to look at the 3D view, this is more or less the model result. So yeah, we had everything placed in. We put in our drywalls and it came out exactly as our design. All right. And as you can see, the model looks really good. So kudos out to the modeling team. They did a fantastic job. Yeah, this is how we actually applied the scan to BIM workflow. Pretty awesome. And of course, like I said, the last part is actually to overlay the new scan versus the design. I did not get to that part. Maybe it'll be a bit of homework for you to do when you get there. But all you got to do is once your renovation or construction's done, you would need to scan that constructed or as-built state and overlay it on your Revit model in the previous step, which is the step. So that's about it. I hope you followed really well. Let's kind of wrap things up quickly and let you get on with your day. So just some takeaway points here. you already seen the competitiveness that you can get from this as a company or as a provider or even as a designer. It's going to make you more efficient, more competitive, more profitable. It's also, the productivity goes out of the roof. Reason being is I did not have to miss a measurement. I scanned the physical environment. I didn't have to go back. It was just one scan. That's it. I handed it over to the modeling team. They had all of the information and it was done and dusted. Also, it's very easy to implement, manage, and forecast a project because now you've got all the data. You can actually implement, judge, and use your experience to actually come up with a time frame. You can optimize your productivity. I mean, if you didn't see it here, I'm not sure how I can help you, but it's really boosts your productivity. Your projects will actually be ahead of time. I've tried and tested it. And of course, within budget, which is a big thing. And then, of course, we also eradicate and minimize error-prone design, construction, and as-built construction. So, yeah, that's just wrapping it up very quickly. Before I let you go and we take some questions, this is us, Baker Baynes Online. Please follow us, reach out to us, chat with us, engage with us. We are always involved with really, really trendy, cool things in industries. And we would also like to hear from you in terms of what you are actually up to, basically. If you're doing anything really cool, something you're struggling with, or you just want to say hi, or any recommendations, those type of things, or future topics, please reach out to us on our handles. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, which is a big one. All of our recordings are uploaded there automatically. So at the end of this webinar, you would be receiving a link. All those that are registered, that link will also take you to our YouTube channel. So if a buddy of yours actually missed this webinar today, tag them in, refer them to our YouTube channel, or you can even drop me a mail. And of course, I kind of stole this from Avengers, but design is a symbol, right? So I also would like to connect with you guys in terms of what you're doing out there. So again, my name is Shoaib Yunus. I'm the BIM technical specialist for civil infrastructure and mining here at Baker Baynes. And anything civil infrastructure design, I mean, let's talk, right? Primary focus, those are just the software that I like, we use on a regular basis. Also got a primary focus on the structural side of things. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn, and of course at work, email shoaib@bakerbaynes.com. If you have any feedback that you'd like to give us, any future topics or things that you're struggling with, hit me up, reach out to me. We can actually do a webinar in the future actually looking at that. So we are very friendly bunch of people, professionals that are really helping you design and make a better world, if I could say that way. And then of course the webinar recordings are uploaded to our YouTube channel. If you haven't checked it out yet, please go and check it out. It's at just type in Baker Baynes on YouTube. Subscribe so that you know that when anything else is out new. There's stuff on architecture, engineering, construction, mining, manufacturing, process plant, energy, reality capture, civil infrastructure. So you've got a lot of stuff that you can learn on. So yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna say thank you from my side. Just gonna check the chat menu if there's any questions. So if you do have any, please send them through now. I'll give you a few minutes. If not, you're more than welcome. I'll actually put up my previous slide. If you want to send it to my email. However, if you have any questions, let's just, you can send them now. I'll give it a few minutes. Okay, so I do not see any questions or anything like that. I'm not sure if you guys are awake or you're not having the staying awake in lockdown. I hope this was interesting. If not, let me know if there's anything else that you would like to see. George, thanks for your info. Definitely, like you said, the recording will be useful. It will be on YouTube, so you can always more than welcome to share it with whoever you'd like. Virginia, thank you very much also. I'm glad that you like the info. And then, of course, Leon, thanks. Definitely, you're more than welcome to come, and anyone's actually welcome to come and visit us at our new offices. Come and chat, say hi if you're around. It would be really cool to engage with anyone in the same industry and stuff like that. But yeah, thanks. I'm getting some really good feedback that people actually followed the webinar really well. Yeah, it's very easy to test. Again, our details are on the screen. Reach out if you have any more complex questions or anything like that. I'm really happy that people actually enjoyed it. Thanks, Deepti, for that. Found it fun. But yeah, I think I'm not going to keep you guys any longer. If there's anything else, feel free to reach me on LinkedIn or on email. I wish you all a really good day further. Take it easy, stay safe on this lockdown, and I will definitely catch you soon for the next webinar. So have an awesome day, stay safe, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the day.